Is up next, and she will be followed by Rich Durecki, who would like to speak about guns, and after him will be Anthony Sword, who would like to speak about the environment.
Good. As we're introduced before I'm the chairperson of the Finance Board of the Borough of Naugatuck, and we are facing a very difficult budget, as you are in the state. One of the things that we meet every single Monday, and one of the things that we're always discussing is the budget and what's good for, what is needed in Naugatuck, not wanted, but needed. And, how the taxpayers, are going to be facing this. But one of the things that we come across every single Monday is an unfunded mandate. There are so many unfunded mandates that if we can just, when the legislature is working on items to please, especially in the educational, in the educational budget, there's so many unfunded mandates. And so that's my finance board hat. I'm going to put on my personal hat now. I have a child that goes to Eastern Connecticut State University, and it's a phenomenal university. She's a freshman. She loves it there, but we just had a 5% increase. And from what I'm reading in the paper, I haven't gotten my bill yet, but from what I'm reading in the paper, it's a $1,000 increase. And that's not including room and board yet. And one of the things that's every parent's dream is to send their kids to college. And I'm thinking that a lot of these increases are starting to take that dream away from a lot of children. I just, my dream was always to send my children to college so that they could stay at school. Some children are never going to have that opportunity. So as we're going through these budgets, please think of the children at the university system. Like I said, Eastern's a great place to go to. It's an hour away from here. It's a perfect distance for her. But that's basically...
let me begin with that one, and I'll remind me to go back to your Board of Finance and Education question. First of all, Eastern is a wonderful place. I've been there on a number of occasions, most recently for a memorial service for the teacher from Stratford who was murdered on December 14th and was a graduate just a few years ago from Eastern, and an inspired teacher who, this is the teacher who hid children in 2 closets and then did everything she could to protect those children. About half of those children survived in that classroom, and it was a wonderful day because people from her education program and her history program both got up and spoke. So I'm committed to Eastern. I'm also committed to higher education in the state of Connecticut. One of the things that we have indicated with our discussions with colleges and universities, the public ones, is as they raise tuitions, and by the way, unless tuition is $20,000, which it's not, then it's not a $1,000 raise.
That's what I thought too, but that's what I read. That's why I said.
I understand. So that's probably a combination of all expenses and fees, as opposed to just tuition, because tuition's not that high. You and I know that. But I agree with you. I mean, you would hope it could be less. On the other hand, the citizens of Connecticut don't want to pay more taxes either, as probably the citizens of the borough aren't excited about paying more taxes. And so, it puts pressure on budgets. But what I've said to them is when you raise tuition, you have to raise the level of financial aid that you're also dispensing. And so we hope that we catch and can increase financial aid to those students who would otherwise lose the opportunity. And that's what we're trying to do. It's not a perfect situation. We did keep, the first year I was governor, we were able to keep increases to 2.5%. I think if we look at the range over a 3-year period of time, it's actually lower than the national average. And we've maintained a higher level of support by about 20%. to our state public universities and colleges over the national average. So as we're having to do certain things, we're 20% ahead of the curve in protecting the flow of dollars to our colleges and universities, and we're at a pretty decent 3-year average. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
But oh no, wait a minute. Mandates. You know, I'll say this to you. You know, and I said it to you. I met with some of the public officials on some issues. You know, I've sent, not I've sent, but the legislature has sent, I asked for them to appropriate $130.82 last year for each one of your students. And the next year I've asked them to appropriate an additional $95 and $95.62 if my budget as presented was passed. And that's true net additional dollars. It has nothing to do with what column it comes from or anything else. It's another $95 per student. In a time when obviously we've been under pretty big financial pressure vis-a-vis your question about colleges and universities. Part of that is, and I don't know, and I invite you to send me an email, and in fact, Aaron can give you a card if he has one, and you could send it to me of what you think some of the onerous mandates are. I do believe, having said that, in the education arena, that we're moving in the direction of a system where we're going to hold ourselves as parents, students, teachers, administrators, other local officials to a higher degree of accountability. Now, I've sent, and I worked with the legislature to send those additional dollars, but they now come with strings attached to make sure that that money is going to be spent in an alliance district on ways that are actually going to drive increased achievement. Some of that may also have to do around the process of improving what's going on in a classroom or in a building, as well as other things. I'm trying to do the best we can. We're going to try to keep it up.
Thank you.
But send me that information.
I will, and
Okay?
thank you for
The
coming.
most onerous ones.
I will, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.